Welcome to AstroEnergy with Astrologer Angel Shelley Overton. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the AstroEnergy Show. My name is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I want to welcome you and thank you for coming and listening today. So, today is a pretty amazing day. I have amazing things to tell you. Well, probably not amazing things, but I don't know, if you don't know much about astrology, it's kind of amazing. So, in the sky today, we have an eclipse. And if you're in North America, probably you're not going to see it because it happens after the sun goes down. So let me think. You might in California. There's a small chance. It's around 8 o'clock tonight, 8:30. And so that means that the Earth is in the sky and the moon is between us and the sun. And so it's a solar eclipse. But, of course, the moon is new right now. It's going to be new, I believe, right as everything happens. So you're going to end up having an amazing amount of energy in Pisces tonight. It's going to be, I actually know it, hang on one second. I was just trying to post the actual calendar, or not the calendar. Why am I so scattered right now? Probably because Venus is in Aquarius and she's got a lot of silly things. And, of course, all of the Pisces energy is directly opposite all my Virgo thinking energy. So, anyway, I was going to post the chart on the Facebook page so you could all see it, but it's distracting. So I'll do it on the break. So we'll have it for half the show. We won't have the ability to share it. But anyway, so we have all these planets. We have Mercury, Neptune, Moon, Sun, South Node, all in Pisces right now. And a couple days from now, we're going to also have Venus, because Venus goes in, I believe, let's see, what's the 8th? I think she goes in on Sunday. But I'm grabbing my glasses because you would think I would know by now. But anyway, hang on, let me grab them, put them on, so I can tell you exactly when Venus goes in to Pisces, which is on Saturday. So Saturday in the morning at 5:24 a.m. Eastern Time and 2:24 Pacific. So a few days from now, we're going to have all sorts of planets in Pisces, and we still already do. So what does that mean? That's always my number one question. What does that mean? I tell people stuff. It actually means that we are very heavy in water energy right now, and, astrologically and weather-wise, you're going to have more rain, more snow, more liquid, and more emotions, because that's what Pisces does. It brings emotions to everything, and it gets us in touch with spirit and the ethers and faith and expression. It's an intuitive expression, unlike Gemini, which rules kind of the house of expression and communication, but it's very nonverbal. So right now Mercury just went in. He's only at 5 degrees Pisces, and so he's not very talkative. He's more into the subtleties of things and intuiting and just reading the energies. So we have Mercury at 5, Neptune at 9. Neptune at 9 degrees, so it's still in the early degrees. It hasn't gone into the next decan, which is going to be the Cancer decan. I call it decant. Some people call it decanant, but I call it decant. So anyway, so he's still in Pisces, and he's still trying to understand how to interact with Jupiter. Jupiter is in Virgo, retrograde at 18, and so the sun is at 18, and moon will be at 18 tonight. So guess what? A lot of energy poured into identity, transitions, and because the moon reflects the sun, but he is actually blocking the sun, there is a time when we feel a bit disconnected, and then it's like it blinks back on. It's like the moon will cover the sun, and then he'll go past the sun, and so the sun effectively, from our perspective, goes out and comes back on. So the sun is our sense of self, and when the moon goes between it, not only is it blocking the ego, but it's expressing the feminine, which the moon rules mothers. It expresses emotion all the more. And because both are in Pisces, it's like this really intense bombing, emotional bombing. So it's like an emo bomb. And so we are connected into the other side. So I would say it's a huge time for a thin veil. Not only that, but I've also read this week that it's still the supermoon. And so that means it's still very close to Earth. And so it's affecting us still, even though we can't really see it per se. When it does block the sun from Earth's perspective and you're on that side of the world, it will be seen from behind because it'll be a silhouette, because the rays will come out from behind it. So it is going to be illuminated in some aspect. And if you think about it, astrology is very much about symbology. And it's how you read information. And in a linear world, if you apply a linear way of thinking or a logical way of thinking, which is the logic in astrology, and you look at the physical phenomenon of what's happening, the sun represents the higher self. It represents how we look at ourselves on Earth, which, because we're in a material body, it's an earthbound body, an earthbound energy, that is ego. Ego is the material body and how it's integrated into the material plane. So it's a lower energy, a denser energy for the earth plane. And the sun is, in a lot of ways, spiritually, for me anyway, it is like a higher burning energy of it. It represents light and enlightenment to me. So it is about understanding the ego, understanding the self. And then in the sign of Pisces, it is that connectedness to the divine, that connectedness to spirit and to the other side. So we have this story going on about the ego and connectedness to the all, which is spirit, and it is breaking down the barriers, because that's what Pisces does, and Neptune, they break down structure. So those are the themes that we have with this energy. And then you add the moon, which is the mom, the mother, the energy of the nurturer. And when you're a little baby, it's your structure, it's your world. So these are issues of a detachment in some aspect from the mother, and it can be issues around the mother, the home, the family, and wanting to merge the ego with the nurturing mother aspect. And in opposition to Jupiter, Jupiter, just as an astrological symbol, is transformation. It comes the house directly after the 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio, death and rebirth. And so what it is it rules that energy of transformation from death and dying into the next world. So when you have this opposition between the sun, the moon, in eclipse, opposing to the exact degree Jupiter in Virgo, which is healing and health, it is a transformation of health, but it can also be a transformation of life into the afterlife, because it is about the physical body and the spirit. So Jupiter, it rules seeking higher expansion and understanding and knowledge in Virgo, which is health issues, and also it's an earth sign, so it represents the earth plane and the physical. And then you oppose it to the sun, which is ego, and the moon, and I haven't even gotten to the other planets, but just that alone is talking about detaching from something on the earth plane, something, an old issue, which Neptune and Pisces are about. And I said Neptune, Pisces, for those who don't know, Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is in his own sign in Pisces right now until the mid 2020s. So we have this connection to the ego and a connection to family, to parent, to feminine that is going through transition right now. And we also have Pluto currently in the chart I have. Pluto's in the 8th house of death and rebirth, which is the house he rules, in Capricorn, which is the body. So, this is from where I'm at here in Orlando. So obviously that shifts and changes depending on where you are. But in that position, it can also connect us into a transition of life and a transition of physical form. So this might not just be of life, but it could also be something where we decide to change something about our appearance or something about our body that we're not happy with. And Pluto is also the sign of surgery, so this could be something related to surgery in the physical form. So I'm still just getting to the weather, the astrological weather right now. And then we will get on to what's going on politically, if I can handle that. But we've also got Neptune, like I said, in Pisces. We've got him within 4 degrees of Mercury. So now Mercury is translating the energies into his form of communication. So, his realm, which is communication. So it's Piscean, which means he's telling us things through the Piscean modality, which is dreams, intuition, psychic awareness, knowledge, like that. So our dreams are much more vivid now. It's very much prophetic, the things that we can dream, the things that come into our world. In the dream state, we can astral project, astral travel during this time. And we're definitely going to feel more drowsy and sleepy and, wanting to get more rest. So don't beat yourself up if you're feeling like you're not accomplishing everything you want to, because not only do we have these 4 planets and lights in Pisces, they're all squaring Saturn. And so today, Sun squares Saturn within 2 degrees. Moon is going to be squaring Saturn. Jupiter squares Saturn in Virgo, and Saturn is in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is Jupiter ruled. So he's very much engaged with this energy. And today is kind of the peak, the denouement of that energy. So he is about tradition, and he is about letting go of tradition, because Sagittarius needs freedom. And Saturn is traditional ruler. It wants rules, it wants regulations, restriction. It's trying to prove something, it's trying to show us something. And Sagittarius just wants to be free to do what he does. And so Sagittarius energy on Saturn is bringing us all an awareness of how we need freedom by restricting freedom. And so at odds with a retrograde Jupiter in Virgo, it's like we are very much expanding our awareness of what it is we need by how much we don't have it and how much obstacles are being put in our way because we don't have it. So if you've been feeling that as it's been building over the last couple weeks, that's perfectly in alignment with the energies that are going on right now. And Mars just moved into Sagittarius 2 days ago. So now he is wanting to take action, and he's at odds with all the Piscean energy as well. So he's going to have a little bit of difficulty, but he's still at the early degrees. He's closest to Mercury, and he's closest to Venus, who still has not moved out of Aquarius. So he's going to feel pretty good in how he perceives things and then how he takes action, because Venus in Aquarius is a very high understanding energy. She's detached from some of this emotionalism, but Mercury in Pisces is kind of the other side of it, where the mental capacity of Aquarius is also affected by Mercury being an electrical energy, and he's in Pisces down in the steam right now in the water. So there's kind of both sides of it going on, but Mars is probably your best bet right now to getting things done, because he is still able to take action, having a few degrees before he comes smack dead on into Mercury. So that means in our world that we have a bit of capacity to do things with Mars in Sagittarius, and because Sagittarius is such a strong go-getter and action-based energy, we will be getting some things done today. But Mercury moving into Pisces in a couple days is going to square Mars, and so then we're going to have kind of a battle of feminine and masculine energy. So Mars in Sag is very masculine. Venus in Pisces is hyper feminine, and she is in an area that she understands because she's about love and Pisces is about universal love. So she's going into her element, and she's going to bring about this awareness that we all have to work together and love each other. So it is more of kind of an opposition of the sexes coming up for the next couple of weeks, because we've got all this feminine energy very heavily weighted, and then we have masculine Saturn. Well, Saturn rules a feminine energy of Capricorn, but he is a masculine planet and is the paternalistic energy at the top of the chart. So he really does override a lot of, or oversee is probably a better word for our career and our life purpose from a standpoint of taking authority. So in Sagittarius, he's very much about getting it done and owning the drive. And then Mars is right there with him saying, no, we got to go do it. And all of the Pisces planets are up there saying, but have you looked at this side of things? Are you really sure you want to do it? Because it's not really clear right now. And it's not clear in a material sense, but it's clear in an emotional sense. And if you're not paying attention to your emotions, you're missing half the clues. And that's truly what's going on right now. So definitely there is a bit of opposition going on with Jupiter and Virgo wanting to things to be more structured and pragmatic, and then Saturn and Mars in Sagittarius wanting things to be more action-based, fire energy. And then you have Uranus in Aries, which is in conjunct to the Sun, and it's going to be in conjunct to the eclipse tonight at 18 degrees. He's exactly 18. So we have this really strong intensity going on between Uranus, Sun, Moon, eclipse, and Jupiter. And it's about taking action. It's about having a voice and wanting things to move forward, especially Saturn and Sagittarius wanting to be off doing their thing and doing business-related things, career-related things, changing careers. And Uranus in Aries wanting to call his own shots. Don't tell me what to do. He's at odds at 17 with Pluto still, and he's also going to be a bit at odds with the Sun and the Moon eclipse. So it's just this. So people in your world have these energies. They're, you can see dynamics in your day-to-day life. Oh, that is such a Uranus and Aries thing, and I've got somebody who just won't listen to me. And then I have somebody who's in higher education or expanding their world by wanting to move and change and grow, or even being spiritual, and that's Saturn-Mars energy. So children can be Mars and Sagittarius right now too. And then daughters might be also encompassed under Venus in Aquarius, so they're wanting freedom, but then they're going to go back and feel like, now after Venus goes into Pisces, they might want a little more of that energy because they're going to be following up with that eclipse energy of the Sun and the Moon. So they're coming in on this energy. And this is not to be morbid, but Venus, so this energy, and I'm taking longer than I wanted to, but there's so much in this. Sun can be the father, Moon is the mother, opposite Jupiter, which is life transformation, and then Mercury is siblings, and Venus is females, or, if you have the two together, Venus and Mercury are pretty close together right now, female siblings. So we have some energy around sisters, around work and health, around parents, and how we look at the parental roles in our world. And that's undergoing transformation right now because of Saturn and Mars and Uranus, Pluto. Everything is at 18 degrees. So it's just this really strong, intense shift going on today. And you're going to be feeling it for the month of March because of the transit of Mercury, Venus, and the sun through this sign. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little awareness of what we're going through, and you'll get a better idea when I take some callers too. If you want to call in for a reading, the number is 347-994-3365. And as I've said in the promotion of the show, we're going to go over some of the energy around politics today, which honestly I have very strong opinions of, and I really try to be more balanced when it comes to my public readings. So I don't want to go off and end up going off on a tangent. And, so I keep myself fairly in check when it comes to this stuff. But anyway, I am trying to find out, I think it's under the U.S. chart files, the electional chart for this year. And usually I do election day charts as the day of the election, which this year is November 8th, and I do it 7 a.m. Eastern Time because that's when the polls usually open. But for some reason I have it under Orlando, but usually I do it for Washington, D.C., because that's the capital of the nation, and that would be just much more of an accurate place. So for Election Day, because we are electing our representatives who reside in Washington, so I do it for that. And then, so I guess I'll start out, probably the best way to start out, and we're going to probably run a little long on this, but I am going to take calls, so if you can just hold on. And also I want to tell you, if you're waiting for me, if you want a reading, push the 1 so that I know you have a question and want to be called on. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to know that, and I won't click on you. So, okay, so the election chart shows, well, first off, the U.S. chart, I'm doing a Sibly, S-I-B-L-Y, which is July 4th, 1776 at 5:15 p.m. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That gives the U.S. a Libra at 13 degrees rising sign with Saturn at 14 degrees. So we are about structure. We are about humanitarianism on some level, because the air signs are the idealists when it comes to social agendas. And Saturn in Libra, Libra wants to balance, Libra wants to please everybody and make sure we're all okay. And it's the diplomat sign of the zodiac. So of course, being Saturn at 14, he's been feeling, 14 Libra, he's been feeling this transit of Pluto and Uranus squaring each other, and then also opposing and squaring him. So it's a really strong energy going on for the U.S. right now, a major shift and change. And then and I'm just going to lightly touch on this because I've mentioned this before, but we also have Pluto at 27 degrees retrograde in the natal chart of the U.S. And right now Pluto's at 15 Capricorn. So he's within 12 degrees of where he was when this country was founded, which means we are absolutely moving into another shift and change in how we see our country, how we see the structure of our country and where it's headed. On Election Day, and double check that I have the dates right, which is amazing to me, the moon on Election Day is at 24 Aquarius. The moon in the U.S. chart is at 24 Aquarius. So they are at exactly the same degree when we have this election this year. And we have Neptune at 9 degrees retrograde in Pisces. We have Jupiter at 12 Libra, which is wanting to transform and balance the rhetoric and balance out what's going on. Jupiter is another expansion and shift. I think it's going to be a very profound election for this country. It is going to affect the direction of this country for a long time in the future, of course, which every election does, but more profound because Jupiter is about transformation, and he is within 2 degrees of Saturn, and he's in the 12th house, which is what our deep subconscious wants at the election day. So we are voting our higher mind, so to speak. And our higher mind in this chart wants cooperation. It's expanding cooperation. And you're not seeing it right now because we are still in Virgo. We are still in the area of healing the energies. And right now, Jupiter, let me see real quick. I got to find my now chart. Sorry, here we are. Okay, so Jupiter is at 18 Virgo, and that puts Jupiter just into the 12th house of the U.S., just going into the subconscious. So Jupiter is just now expanding all that was hidden in this year. I mean, really only for a short while this year has Jupiter really been getting us into our subconscious. So let's see. I'm just looking at what's going on in our world here. Actually, this is the wrong. So guess what? I got a new ephemeris, and it's my brand new one that shows me the dates again, the tighter times on a chart. So yes, it's a good time. It's a good time to be listening and going over all this, because I can actually break it down to the time of day that these things happen. So that's really good. Anyway, I'm looking up Jupiter. When he went into 14 degrees, which was actually October of last year, it was the middle of October, then he really started, I think that's probably when election issues started getting more ramped up, but going into the 12th house of the U.S. chart. And so he's within 4 degrees of the U.S. natal Neptune at 22 Virgo. So we have this subconscious energy that's around healing and service in our country. Ideally, we are a service-minded people. And when we have that energy resonating in the candidates, then we are on board as a collective. You know, when we have issues around health, which obviously are going to be some part of the election, because we have the issue of the Affordable Care Act. So that's definitely going to be part of how people vote and what helps them make up their minds. Our country's chart has 4 planets in Cancer at the midheaven, so it's about nurturing. It's about overseeing that which is thought to be our charge, or the people we're in charge of. The natal chart, again, has Pluto and Capricorn in the house of home and family, so it is about transformation around the collective as we see our community. So on election day with the moon in Aquarius, it's going to be about connecting to what the majority, really, I mean, more so than I've seen, because Aquarius is about what's good for the whole, not what's good for the individual. That's how we're going to be voting that day. That's the energy surrounding it. And then Uranus in Aquarius wants to have the ability to do what it needs to do, but it is on within 1 degree of the U.S. Chiron. And so Chiron is the wounding that we got as a collective, and the collective is war. So Mars and Aries are the energy, but in the house of connecting to the community, and that which we make friends with and connect to as a partner in this country. So Uranus is going backwards, and he's wanting us to really look at the war issue in how we vote and what's going on with that. So there could be some energy coming about wanting to take action towards that Aries energy, and us as a collective really trying to evaluate how that's going to affect us in our day-to-day lives, or in the relationship we have with other countries. Because, America partners with other countries, and that's really what the 7th house in our chart is about, is how we have allies and who is going to be connected to us in that aspect. So the quicker moving planets are in Scorpio. The sun's in Scorpio, as it always is on election day in November. Mercury is in late degree Scorpio, so it is about decisiveness. And Saturn and Venus will both be in Sagittarius in the 3rd house, so it is about wanting freedom as a collective. Saturn and Sagittarius just outside the 2nd house. It's about real estate. There's very strong likelihood that there's going to be some energy around real estate, the real estate market at that time of year. So we're still, 8 months away, 9 months away. I think that as an astrologer, the real estate market is going to continue to get better over this year, but I think it's going to be short-lived, as Saturn gets to Capricorn again. And, we're kind of in that bubble again where, hey, we can do this, let's do this. And so people are thinking of moving. They're thinking of restructuring that way. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to bring in a couple of the charts, so I don't know which one this is. I'm going to do Donald first, I think, because let's face it, he's kind of interesting. So if I can just find him, there he is. Okay. So actually, I'm probably only going to spend a few more minutes, I know, because I talked so much about Pisces. But Donald Trump, overview. Donald Saturn is at 24, my mind bleeped, Cancer. And Venus is at 28 Cancer. Mercury is at 12 degrees Cancer, and that puts his Saturn directly on America's Mercury. And Mercury for the country is retrograde in Cancer, and Saturn is there. So what he's doing is he is triggering how we look at the fabric of our country as it relates to the home and to the safety and security issues that we have within the home. Mercury in Cancer. Cancer is about money. Cancer is about security. Cancer is looking for the structure. So definitely the people in the country who are feeling the fear over finances and are looking for someone who is the representation of that. Let's be honest, Donald Trump appears to many people to be the representation of money. And that is what the country, a lot of people in the country are looking to express right now. With Mercury in his chart also at the midheaven, he is literally the embodiment of the person that can give those people fearful of not having structure, the structure they need. So he's got that Saturn in opposition to Pluto in the house of home and family. So really, this energy is about the conservative energy of the country, the people who are looking for someone who is expressing that conservative nature because they are afraid. And let me see, I'm going to do the election day with his chart, which I didn't actually already have up here. So let me just real quick call that up. And you know what? I just remembered, I forgot this. I was going to make this show 15 minutes longer, but there wasn't an option to do that. And so I can run over. I think I can run over like 10 minutes if I need the time. And so I'm going to use the time I need today to get everything in. So I will be taking calls, so please stay on the line still. And then we'll get to your calls here in a few minutes. I think I'm going to give it probably till 20 till, and then we'll take the calls if I can get it all in then. So Donald Trump with Election Day, and I'm going to use it as Election Day for the country with him in it. So we are the collective who are voting, so we are going to be the center chart on this wheel. And at the time of voting, we have a Scorpio rising at 19. Our Sun is there. Our Mercury is there on the horizon. So on Election Day, it's about the ego and about the expression of self as it relates to Scorpio, which is discernment and commitment. So we are looking for value. We're looking for value of ourselves to others. I'm sorry. God, I thought I muted that. I apologize if I didn't mute that. So anyway, so we're looking for the value of ourselves to others. And the Mars energy for Donald Trump is at 27 Leo at the midheaven at that point. So he's giving a really good show, but he's in the 12th house of what we choose to accomplish for the purpose of that day, which means there's hidden information, and it's also squaring the U.S. Mercury, which this energy is the energy of people who would take advantage. The late degree Leo squaring late degree Scorpio, you have to watch out for fraudulent activity. And with his Mars right there, I'm just telling you astrologically to the election day, this is really difficult energy for the country. It would be someone who is not speaking forthrightly. He's saying what he needs to say to do what he needs to do. On the election day, that's the energy that's happening. Politically, there's a Saturn in Cancer. He's got Mercury in Cancer. There's some strong energy around connecting to the country there. Again, because of the connection to the country and the chart, the U.S. chart with him, there is a connection of, speaking the voice, but Mercury retrograde is looking to the past, looking to something that's traditional, looking back. So I'm going to end his chart, and now I'm going to do Bernie's, if I can find it here real quick. Hillary, Bernie. There he is. And, okay, and so Bernie, he has, okay, so I'm doing the U.S. chart with Bernie's chart first, and then I'll do the election chart with him too. So hang on one second, I'm going to get that one ready. And I appreciate your patience. You're very thoughtful to do that. Thank you. So let's get his, okay. So hang on a second, I just hid the other one. Okay, Bernie Sanders. So Bernie has, let me see, where's his sun? He's got a Virgo sun. He has Venus in Libra, so he is a bridge builder because he desires to connect and to build the bridge. He has Vesta at 10 degrees Libra, which I find really interesting because that means that there's someone who is conflicting around him, a woman who's conflicting. That's how I read Vesta. And it's in balance. So this could be somebody who is a marital partner because it's in Libra. It could be somebody who's a political partner, but there could be some energy around Hillary that relates to that, or even potentially partnering with her somehow. But it's a very strong feminine woman energy in the partnership area that is potentially restricting him because it falls on the U.S. Saturn. Obviously, that's the case with the election because Hillary is having some energy drawn away from his campaign because she's winning certain states. His Jupiter is directly on Mars. So Jupiter is expansion again, and it's communication. So he's bringing out the voice of a drive that America has at 21 degrees Gemini. We have our Mars at 21 Gemini, which means we want to communicate. We want to think about ideas. We are an inventive nation. We have Uranus and Gemini as well. So we say things that we think people want to hear, but we can't always follow through because as a collective, we go in so many different directions. And you can see that with just how divided the country is right now, that we are a country divided. Uranus in Bernie's chart, he was born within 8 degrees of the same Uranus. And so it is his voices of the people. He is the voice of the masses who are the working class of America, which is Uranus and Gemini. He is speaking on behalf of the working class. And Jupiter means he's expanding, taking action on behalf of that for the country. His Saturn is at 28 Taurus, really close to Uranus. He is someone who does appreciate the ideas of entrepreneurs. He is about money. Saturn in Taurus is this energy of people who understand money. Literally at late degrees Taurus, which it is, this is someone who has done very well financially in his life and is about, he can make a career as a financial advisor if he wanted to, because that Saturn in Taurus is very strong, connected to financial markets. And he sees that the country, because of Uranus and Gemini, which is where Saturn goes when it, by progression, it's going to hit Uranus and Gemini, it sees the energy of expansion of ideas and the people as a resource. That's what that energy is over there. His Sun is in our 12th, his Neptune's in our 12th, and his Mercury is in the 12th in Libra also, so he's communicating the balance and diplomacy side of things that he feels very strongly. And Neptune within 4 degrees of the country is a Virgo Neptune, so it is an idealized view of the country healing. He wants it to heal. I think he wants to help it heal. And his Sun is in Virgo, so he's a worker and he's a person of service. So let's see what Hillary's is real quick. Oh, I forgot to go into, let me see what his election chart looks like. I'm honestly kind of taking this as I see it because I like to be a little bit more spontaneous with the readings that way. So let's see, on election day, again, 19 degrees on the cusp of the first house, and it puts Neptune just into the 11th house. So he's got his Neptune triggering deep subliminal issues that we may not be aware of yet in healing, because it's Virgo. Mercury and Libra, so all his Mercury or his Libra energy falls into the collective and groups of people. He basically is, it's probably nothing too different from what you're seeing anyway, but he's resonating to the energy of Aquarius, which is the Neptune house, where his Neptune is, where the Jupiter of the country is on election day. And he's resonating to healing, which that house has Virgo on the cusp. So his Neptune's just inside into the healing, the idealized view of getting your hands dirty and getting down and gritty and working and being of service. And then he's thinking about how things can be balanced out for everybody, of course. That's what they're, all the campaigns are about. And then Venus also in Libra in that same house. And that 11th house is the house of the masses. It is about unions. It's about thinking as a group. So that energy is right there. Sun is in the house of career. So his sun is shining at that point. The midheaven, his midheaven has North Node in Virgo on it. So it's about work. It really is about work. I mean, he's a Virgo. That's what it's about. It's about work for him. He's and work and service. He's about that. And he is about getting health care and keeping health care for everybody. Okay, so let's see. Saturn comes into his house of partnership. And so it is about money. I think that if he were to win the election, he would have to deal with some issues around the economy really strongly. That might be the crux of his time in the White House if he were to win. He has Mars in Aries and Moon in Aries. So his moon falls on the Uranus for the election day, which means, again, the collective and the autonomy. And his Mars is in the house of work of the election day. So Mars in Aries is taking action. It's new. It's brash. It's about getting stuff done. And it's definitely about marketing. So, the self-promotion going on election day and getting it done, get her done kind of attitude. So, and that's, of course, in trying to what's going on with Saturn and Mars in the sky. Okay, so let's find out about Hillary. Where is she? She's right here. And then we have her election day chart. So let's find the election day chart for her. And we'll see. Okay, so her on, no, we'll do the U.S. chart. We'll do it the same way we did the others. So she's got Uranus on the U.S. Mars. So Mars is at 21 Gemini for the U.S. and her Uranus is at 25. So she's born not too far off of Bernie. She's about a year younger than Bernie. He's only 1 year older. And so her Pluto-Mars conjunction is in Leo. And it's also in the house of career. She's got Vesta at 26 Cancer conjunct U.S. Mercury. U.S. Mercury in Cancer is, again, about communicating what is good for the welfare of our country as a homeland. So the Vesta energy, again, is some kind of upheaval around that. That's what it is. So there's definitely going to be strife. If she were to be elected, definitely I would see something happening more flamboyant, more aggressive going on. And she's got a lot of Scorpio. She's got Venus and Mercury and Sun and Chiron all in Scorpio and a Scorpio ascendant and South Node in Scorpio. So she's got 5, 6 energies going on in Scorpio in her chart, and that's only a couple asteroids. So she is about willingness to do what it takes to get where she wants to go, and that can even mean shooting yourself in the foot if she has to, like somehow, like if I can't get it this way, then, and I know it's right. And it's about a righteousness that she has, and it has a lot to do with our value in the world and the value of the world economy for her. That's the area she resonates to, along with being a leader Mars-Pluto conjunction's pretty flipping powerful up there in her career of the U.S. chart. So she definitely is somebody who is aggressively going after what she feels is probably a very strong purpose connected to this country. She's got North Node at 6 degree, the natal North Node for the U.S. is a 6 Leo, and she's got a 14-degree Mars-Pluto conjunction. And Pluto rules politics, and Mars is taking action, so she's very much about the leadership energy. And she has Saturn in Leo as well, which falls into money from career. So she's been able to create a career out of politics, and the Democrat side is the connection there for the country. Saturn in Leo in the 11th house is the connection to the Democrat side of things. So Jupiter at 0 degrees Sagittarius, so she's in a Jupiter return right now, or actually I take it back, Mars is on her Jupiter. And let's see if she has any other returns going on. She's in a trine to Saturn right now, so there's some positive energy going on there. And her moon is in Pisces, so she can be a little bit missing some of the information, because moon in Pisces means that there's a hidden quality, a subconscious subliminal quality that she may not be totally aware of, but she is highly intuitive when it comes to work. And she is a leader. She's going to act like a leader if she's elected. Of course, I'm going to go right back to Donald Trump one last time to see what was going on with him, because he also has Saturn in the house of career for the U.S., but he is in Cancer, so he is more about, well, they're both rather paternalistic in some sense, because Saturn is paternalistic and it's in Cancer, so he can connect to what is considered a nurturing side to some people, and look more kind of sympathetic. And his Mars is really close to Hillary's. Matter of fact, it'd be kind of ironic if those two were a team. Maybe that's what we should do, is have one political party as the president and the other one as the vice president, and maybe they'd be forced to get along. Anyway, his Mars is within range of her Saturn, so how he expresses his leadership energy, she actually creates the structure of that. He does the action and she does the structure. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but he would actually, his Saturn's in, he's more about doing internal structural things, so probably shoring up things within the U.S. I don't think he is as strong politically overseas. He will do much more around the country, whereas she's going to do much more overseas and connect into people of other cultures and things like that. So I'm not going to tell you my opinion on who should win, and I'm not going to predict who's going to win in this show. So I'm just going to give you a little overview of how their politics interact with the U.S. chart. And then I think I'm going to do one last. I think I'll do Hillary for Election Day. She has her Venus at exactly the same spot as the Sun on Election Day, and her Mercury is exactly the same spot as the Election Day chart. So there is a lot of energy going on for her on Election Day. She has, within 1 degree, she has Neptune on Jupiter for the election chart, which is expansion and balance, and she's got Saturn, Pluto, and Mars up in the 9th house, so that's a shift and change in ideology and spirituality going on. So she's got a really strong chart for the election day, but she does have Moon on the U.S. Chiron, so I think that she's definitely got some energy that is hidden and very emotional for the country around how we see ourselves as a collective family. But, man, she's got a pretty strong chart for Election Day. I haven't looked at that before. So, anyway, I'll touch more on it on another show, but I do want to get to a lot of our calls. And let me just close out a few of these charts, because I'm going to get really lost in my program if I don't close out. I've got about 10 charts open, and it can get really confusing if I don't clear the decks. So pardon me while I just chit-chat with you for a second while I'm doing that. See if you hear the clicking. That's all that clicking. Click, click, click. So, yeah, I'll probably do some more predictive stuff, and I do hesitate to call the elections only because it can alienate listeners, and I don't want to do that. But, you know, it is what it is astrologically, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. So 202, hi, this is Shelley. Who is this?
My name is Caroline.
Hi, Caroline. How are you? Have you called the show before?
No, this is actually I've been listening to you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, this is my first time, but
that's wonderful.
I love astrology, so it was really nice to listen to you.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you understand some of what I'm saying, and I'm not talking over your head. I don't know what level you understand astrology, but I try to give a pretty thorough breakdown so people can get it if they're not real familiar with astrology.
Yeah, what I try to do is because I'm learning, so there's a lot to learn, but it's still awesome to listen, even though I might not understand.
Right. Yeah. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Well, as you go along, another helpful hint is you could go into some other shows. If you go through the archives, I put the titles of the shows, and I've really tried to start putting more of what it's about for people who are learning, so you can go and find out. And a year ago, I did a whole series on all the different signs, so if you go back and listen, it'll tell you more about the individual signs, so you can pick up some of that, too. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So what's your birthday? And I'll look at your chart.
I am December 31st, 1981. I was born 4 a.m. in Bronx, New York.
Okay, wonderful. Wow, New Year's baby. I have a friend who was born on December 31st. So that's pretty cool. They were twins. I actually have a pair of friends who were twins. One was born December 31st. The other was born January 1st. So that's kind of cool.
Is your moon in your rising and water signs, or?
In the chart I have, you mean?
In your personal chart?
In my personal chart, my moon is in Scorpio, and my rising is Scorpio. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because someone was telling me that that the water signs, they tend to be more psychic. So I would.
Oh yeah.
That's what yours was. I was curious to know what yours were.
Yeah, my moon is Scorpio, and I've got Mercury in Virgo, and I've got it right next to Uranus in Virgo, and I've got that right next to Pluto in Virgo, and then my Sun next to Pluto. So I have a stellium in Virgo, and then I have Saturn in Pisces. So, and it's retrograde in my chart, which means it went back into Aquarius, which rules astrology. So, yeah, and Saturn is your career.
Do you think that you came from a past life, or?
Yeah.
Are you? So, what do you think you were, or what?
Oh, what do I think I was? Oh, I think I've had many past lives in many different ways, but I think I was probably a gypsy or a healer or a combination. I've been told by psychics that I was a doctor. So, yeah. So I just have a lot of healing / teaching / sage kind of energy, in my chart. So, yeah. And you've got a 25-degree Scorpio rising and Uranus and Neptune in Sagittarius in the first house. So you've got a lot of powerful energy in your first house, too, for shifts and changes and travel. So,
I'm an afflicted. Have you ever heard when someone say that, like when you read an article and it says, well, if you're afflicted, if you're an afflicted Pisces, like it's kind of bad. So I am my chart. I'm an afflicted moon in Pisces and afflicted rising field, but the last 2 years I've been working on trying to transform for the better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with Saturn there, having gone through Scorpio recently, yeah, I can understand that.
But I come from a really violent, abusive childhood, but I don't know if I was protected, but I feel like it hasn't. It's like I feel like there's still a lot of love in my heart, but I don't know where the love is coming from, which is I think is unique for what I've seen and what I've been through with my family.
Yeah, well, I'd say the love is from. Yeah, the moon in Pisces is definitely where the love's coming from. Pisces is universal love, And Moon in Pisces is someone who is just so sensitive. Like, you're really connected to the mother energy in your chart, like melding, merging, like you and your mom in your chart are so bonded with the energy. And I don't know
she disappeared when I was 9, so I'm always, there are times when I mourn her deeply, but
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I feel like I do have a chance to transform and live a happy life, just as long as I do the work to transform, I guess.
Okay. Well, I was just looking at your chart. You have Chiron in Taurus, which is the abuse. Okay.
Yeah.
And so let me see what else you have. But you have Mercury at 5 degrees Pisces right on your moon. So today is a really great day for expressing yourself, and all that energy coming out from your moon, and all the Pisces energy is in your house of home and family, so the 4th house. And so it is a very strong time, again, of shift and change around belief systems. Mars is squaring Mercury today, so there's some energy for you because of Mars and Sagittarius around needing, like, I don't know if you know this, like needing to move for your mental and emotional health. Do you know that?
Yeah, I'm about to move. I bought a farmhouse.
Oh, yay!
I'm trying to restore a 19th farmhouse, and so
awesome.
When I just recently found out my chart, I started doing the painting and all the things, and so I'm gonna grow ginseng on half an acre, and but the only thing is, like, because it's so far away from the community, I'm gonna try to get involved in, like, there's a choir practice there's a church right next to my house. I'm gonna do,
beautiful.
even though, I'm gonna try to, because it's gonna be hard at first because I'm leaving DC to go live way out in Eastern Shore, Maryland. It's going to be a challenge,
nice.
But I saw in my chart that there's going to be trade with other countries, and I read that China buys a lot of American ginseng. So maybe that's where, I don't know.
I didn't know that. Well, also, just so you know, Capricorn is pretty strong in your house of money in your chart, and Capricorn represents England. So there's also a connection to England for you.
Well, Princess Anne Maryland belonged to, I guess, the Queen of England at one point in time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Princess Anne Maryland. Well, I'm sure you know all that, but.
Well, I didn't know that that area belonged to the Queen of England. Well, I mean, I take it back. Of course, because we were an English colony. But yeah, that's interesting. I just have to ask you, what made you decide to move to that specific area?
Well, I just my job, it's been really, really stressful, and because of my chart being so afflicted, I knew that I had to figure out a way to kind of get my freedom. And the biggest thing for me that my biggest fear is the security, because I was abandoned, not feeling like I have the security of shelter. So I was like, I have to do something now to try to, and then if I work, if this becomes very successful, I could possibly save up and maybe get something in the city when I'm older. But mainly because of the way my chart is, it's like a quest for, like, earthly security. But I was reading something, and it said that, I guess, have you heard of Abraham Hicks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, the secret, law of attraction.
Yeah, what she was saying is that, I guess supposedly that you can kind of train your mind not to have that fear of whatever it is that you're fearing. Like, you can change your vibration. So I think I've been living with all this fear, and so I got to figure out a way to change my vibration, I guess.
Yeah, you can also, I'm just giving you, hang on one second. Let me just close out for people who are listening live, because we're going to get cut off I just want to thank you for listening to the show. I'm going to continue on for a little bit longer, and I'll take another call if I have time, but I'm probably only going 10 more minutes. So I just want to thank those who are listening live for listening, and listen in archives for the rest of the show. So, yeah, definitely the shift of how you think about things. Like, I've been Buddhist for like 28 years, going on 29 years, and I recite a phrase, which is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, that raises the vibration, and that helps me do just what you're talking about. It helps me come out of the lower world, so to speak, and resonate to a higher, faster vibration, which actually will attract better things to you. So definitely that idea, that way of thinking. I've listened to Abraham for years, probably for 8 years now. I've been listening to Abraham, and I have a few others that I listen to, but definitely, when you're on that spiritual path, your chart shows that you are on a spiritual path, and you're looking for something that's probably a little more unique and not mainstream, because you have Uranus and Sagittarius. So that is the unique qualities of spirituality, which is Sagittarius, and it relates to you, and you're very autonomous. I mean, in other words, you're like an individual seeker. I'm interested on how you bring in the church or a structure like that into your life, because you do have a Capricorn sun and a Mercury sun, so I understand that. Like, you do have this side of you that wants to connect to the physical structure, the tradition of a church, but Uranus and Sagittarius and Neptune in Sagittarius is very much about doing your own thing and finding God in nature, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I spend a lot of time doing trail running, and I feel most happiest out running along the Potomac River, and I just feel like I feel loved. I feel loved by the air, by the trees. That's how I get that love that I feel like I lost when I lost my mom, which sounds really
That's
weird.
beautiful.
I think it's really weird. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Did you say she left or she passed?
She just one day she just disappeared, and they never found her. But she was Taurus. Her birthday was April 29th, and she suffered. I don't know exactly what had happened, but she was in and out of the mental hospital, and she suffered. She was suffering. So, and I saw her suffer. So I don't know if she left me and my two brothers because she was suffering, or if something did happen to her where she passed away. They didn't find a body. So.
Wow.
But,
what year was she born?
She was born April 29th, but I don't know exact year. Like, she was 22 when she had me. Okay. And I was born in 1981. I'm not sure. But what it is that...
I can do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think what it is my mom was a sensitive soul, and my grandmother couldn't relate to her. I'm thinking my mom might have been like an Aries or Aquarius or something, and so they didn't get along, and my mom didn't get the love and nurturing she needs, so they were always fighting. So, but I don't know, something happened, and my mom, I don't know, I guess the mental health drugs back then were really bad, and I don't know exactly what they put her on, but it might have contributed to worse symptoms, but I'm not exactly sure. I just know that my mom, she really did love me and my two brothers, but the medicine was so strong, she was like in the bed, and she wasn't happy because, in fact, I'm a lot like my mom. She was she couldn't like let go of I guess the seeking love from a man, and I feel like that's my biggest life mission, is to learn how to find happiness without desiring a romantic relationship. And I think that my mom didn't learn that, and I think it's almost like I'm doomed to learn that lesson. Like, I need to learn that in this life.
Okay. I got to tell you a few things, okay? You said you had an afflicted chart. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I mean, I know everybody has difficulty somewhere in their chart pretty much. So, I want, just as a person to person, that don't look at your chart as afflicted, because we all have lessons in life that we're here to learn, and you have good and bad in your chart, okay? And so I don't want you to see it that way. Don't tell yourself the story is kind of what I'm saying, so it's what you repeat to yourself over and over is what you manifest. So I want you to look at it like this is part of who I am, but it is not insurmountable, okay? It's mile markers for you to check in with as you go through life. The other thing is you have Saturn in Libra conjunct Pluto in Libra. So definitely your life purpose is around understanding marriage or partnership with other people. And so when Saturn went through there, you went in your first Saturn return within the last couple of years, that was definitely triggering this sense of desire to have that marital partnership, but also what you need to look at if that's your mission is to be able to stand in and of yourself in this world is when you feel those feelings towards someone, what is it about that person that makes you feel like either good or bad about yourself? Like, what is the true belief behind that? Do they make you feel like your mother did, or do they make you feel like you wished your mother did? When you get to the root of why you feel about someone you're quote unquote addicted to, or, I don't know if you have those feelings, but when you feel that way, like you really are just seeking out something you didn't get from one of the other of your parents. So follow the trail of those feelings to the beginning. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you?
Okay. And I think that's like my biggest thing right now is I don't feel until I like resolve things within myself. I don't know that I can really be healthy for someone. I guess that's
right. Well, no, it's a very smart thing to do, and it's something I've done as well. I mean, I was dating after my divorce, and I'm like, you know what? I just have so much anger and animosity. I'm not going to be a good person in a relationship, so I need to really work on that and not date until I'm good with it, And it's taken me probably 5 years, maybe 4 since I consciously did that, to really be at the place where I think I'm okay, So take the time you need. You've been through a difficult life, it sounds like. So
my biggest problem, sorry to cut you off, is right now is I met someone in high school, and like right now I'm trying to figure out how do I let that, like I guess like I have this fear that I'm not going to meet someone just as amazing.
Well, Caroline, I would love to get into that more with you. I think that you will meet somebody amazing, but it's probably gonna come up closer to a couple of years from now. But definitely by the end of this year, actually, you're gonna really start opening yourself up more. And I think that your group of friends are going to change after November or October. Obviously, if you're moving, when are you moving?
I am moving. June 1st is when I'm leaving. My lease is up here at May 31st, so I'm going to be.
Well, that's exciting for you.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you so much from your chart, but I don't have the time anymore today to talk more about it. Okay. But definitely after Jupiter goes into Libra, it's going to start triggering your Mars, your Saturn, your Pluto, and then it'll be on your Jupiter. You'll be in a Jupiter return. So definitely I see some love on the horizon. You want to watch out for your Jupiter return because that's the 12th house and it's in Scorpio, so it's going to bring very deep need for merging and connectedness and a soul seeking. Depending on what other planets are there, that could be your Achilles heel. So, definitely check back in. But if you want, I have a Facebook page. I don't know if you do Facebook, but go to AstroEnergy on Facebook and like the page or shoot me an email or a message through that or on my regular email. My website is astrologerangel.com. So if you go to astrologerangel.com, you can send me an email through there. But yeah, definitely, I would love to hear more about your farmhouse because I just moved to a farmhouse in September here in Orlando. Okay. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear about that, and it sounds like a fun adventure. And if you want to get a reading or if you want to just send me a picture or something, that'd be great. But
I have a fan page. It's iHeart Running 36 on Facebook, and I'll be posting because I'm doing a lot of the work myself. So I'll be posting pictures of my journey and.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have a website that I do with my farmhouse called dottedsky.com. And so, yeah, I have a blog at Dotted Sky. And so you can also find me there.
Okay, I'll make sure. Do you have a Facebook page for it too, or?
Yeah. It's just Dotted Sky.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So are you restoring the farmhouse?
I'm not really restoring it. It was built a year, like in 1963, and so it's only about 51 years old. It's been renovated. It needs a little bit of work. It needs like some paint in the kitchen and some little things here and there. I'm actually doing gardening and renovating all the landscaping around it because it's kind of run down in the landscaping. But it's really cute. I've got animals out back, and so I rent it right now. I don't own it. I just rent it, but it's really cute. So.
Well, I'm going to get off here and like your page, and I really appreciate you taking so much time to talk to me.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you for the call. I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Okay, I'm going to take 313. Hi, 313. How are you?
I'm great. And great. How about yourself, ma'am?
Good. Now, who are you?
My name is Vaughn Robert. I called in a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I
got
have
the same
enough time
birthday.
For a little question, so just give me one question and I'll answer.
That's all I really have.
Awesome.
You answered one just now. I'm
good.
interested in getting a full reading from you.
Oh, lovely.
So I'll go to Astrologer. I'll go to astrologerangel.com to get that.
Yeah.
But
excellent.
You did mention something a little bit earlier about sleeping. I've been sleeping a lot.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I blew up at myself for sleeping so much. I'm not getting up to do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Don't be angry, upset at yourself for being so tired. You've got a lot of stuff in Pisces in the 5th house right now, so it's a lot. You know, it makes us drowsy. What can I do for you?
Well, I just need to know is that you said the last time that I'm kind of going around. I've been taking my path is taking me on a roundabout way of doing things, and I was just wondering because I feel like I'm trying to do stuff, but I get up. I work at night, so
right.
So, matter of fact, I'm about to go to sleep when I get off of the call now. But I get up and I try to get a certain amount, and I try to get certain stuff done. I'm by myself like I want it to be now. I'm solid. I'm consolidating. I'm kind of eager because I want to get it so much stuff, deep stuff that I want to get into.
I totally get that.
Enhance my show, stuff like that. Get out into my own businesses and, get doing what I want to do. I did get some stuff completed yesterday, but I blew up at myself to do it, though. You know what I'm saying?
Aww.
Pointing at myself in the mirror, roughing myself up,
Taking yourself to task. Well, I definitely want you, especially today, because it's a full moon eclipse. That's actually an eclipse of the sun, but, new moon, not full moon. I want you to be gentler with yourself right now because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy, so South Node, Chiron, Sun, Moon, Neptune, and Mercury are all in Pisces, and you have Jupiter retrograde right up there on your Sun, and it's going to go direct, and then it's going to go into your 12th house for a year, which is the Neptune house and the Pisces house. So you're going to be a little bit dreamy, and the energies are wanting you to really tune in to your own psychological health because Jupiter's going to be on Uranus in your 12th house, which is about mental health. So it's the energy of the planets are really trying to get you to slow down, and you're getting mad at yourself for not, which is your Mars and Saturn and Sagittarius going, go, you're in a Mars return. Literally, Mars is at 0 degrees right now, and Mars is at 0 in your chart in Sagittarius.
Wow.
So you're in a very strong go, get it done thing. So what I recommend to you is do what you can early on when you wake up, and then when you fizzle out, acknowledge that, slow down, meditate, take some time to yourself. If you have time to get back up and do a little bit more, like an hour worth of work, then get a lot of rest because all this energy is really having you, it's trying to help you understand your health and it's trying to help you understand taking care of yourself, okay? Even though you have a lot of fire energy really triggered right now, there's a lot of water energy that's really trying to help you slow down. And that's what I was saying earlier in the show about being at odds. it's really at odds with each other. So I
Right.
understand it because I've got it in my chart too. I have a rising sign not far off of yours, so I'm getting that same, go action energy and wanting to get stuff done, but they're all at odds with each other right now, and until Jupiter goes direct in May, I think it's just going to continue to be that way. So, yeah, I feel your pain.
All right, that's good. I called shows like this to get a quick verification, make sure I'm not crazy. That's all.
No, you're not crazy. You're absolutely getting energy and information. I mean, you've got so much creative energy coming from the other side right now. When you sleep, I mean, you're probably not feeling rested because you're out there traveling around when you're sleeping. So write your dreams down. Write them down because that's the other side telling you what you need to know. So, and your chart's very strong about creating something. You want to create. You want to express and create. So do it. Get outside. Get going. But,
yes, it is. Before
respect your sleep time. Yeah.
Do you teach?
I'm
in
the process.
Any instructional courses?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually put together a recorded course that people can take. But I'm finishing up the book I have called. I'm doing a book on beginner's astrology. So I'm literally almost done with part of it, and I'm going to start writing the rest. And once I get it, it'll be like 2 months. I would say give me 2 months. I'm aiming for May 9th when Jupiter goes direct to release it. That's my ideal release date. So I'm getting it together, and then once I get the book, it'll be like a workbook for the class, and then I have to just record the video for the class. So yes, I am in the process of getting it all together, but it's all that and doing readings and trying to do it all. So I'm in the process. So yes, I might start something online like a webinar or like a go live kind of thing or whatever, go to meeting. Just because people are starting to really come out of the woodwork wanting, like, I want you to teach me. And I love to teach. So part of what I'm doing is I want to get the course recorded because my voice gets shredded when I have to talk for a long time, for an hour or two. And so it's easier to just get it one time and have you be able to download it and watch it again and get the information repetitively than to just keep going and going. So that's kind of my main push right now is to do that. So.
All right, count me in when you do it.
I absolutely will. I'm getting a list together, so your name's on it.
All right.
And I tried to go to your broadcast last week, and it wouldn't come up for me. So tell me again what it is.
It's One in the Spirit. It's the O-N-E variety. One in the Spirit with the letter word. What's it called? Or you just, to the archives, One in the Spirit, blogtalkradio.com/One in the Spirit.
Okay.
Over there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try again this week. I tried last week. I couldn't get it. So anyway, it's good talking to you. Now, you're Robert. Your first name's Robert, right? Your last name's Vaughn?
No, my first name is Vaughn. No, my first name's Vaughn. I use my first and middle. I tell my people I'm using my uppity name.
Oh.
I'm sure anybody else just calls me Vaughn. But,
got
I'm
it.
sure I'm Vaughn Robert. I don't know why I can't do it.
Well, no, that's okay. There's some reason, right?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling back. I'm glad you called back in and we could talk a little more.
Oh. I actually called in to listen last week.
Did you? Yeah, and I think I called on you, didn't I?
No. I didn't push one. I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, okay.
Last week I just called in to listen.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well,
because I like the flow that you got. You know what I'm saying? With the way I actually listen to your shows. I know astrology, but I haven't had that time to sit down and really ratchet it down. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Where I can flow with it from mouth like you do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do notice a lot of stuff and things of this nature. But I try to I want to get more. I want to get all the rest of that stuff that's not serving me out of the way. And I want to do what I want to do. That's like astrology, numerology, tarot, cosmic records, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, you've got Jupiter coming up on Uranus for you, which is learning about astrology. It wouldn't surprise me if you do actually do that. So I'm absolutely putting your name down.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, shoot me an email or something on Facebook, or text me on Facebook if you can, or my Astrologer Angel. It's under AstroEnergy. Yeah, either one. AstroEnergy, which is the name of my show, or Astrologer Angel. I'm there, and then or an email, and just, remind me who you are, and I'll put your name down and your email address so that I can send it out when I get it all together. Okay?
Okay. All
cool.
Right.
Well, thanks for the call.
It's always a pleasure, man.
Good talking to you.
Yes,
Take care. Okay, bye.
I'll see you next week.
Sure. Bye. And that's the end of the show, so thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.